people. I'm talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time. Well, in my book, you either do it right or you get eliminated. They're analysts. They don't know preferred stock from livestock, all right? The new law of evolution in corporate America seems to be survival of the unfittest.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Tuesday night, April 10th, 2012. I am your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Mr. Haas.
Hey, how's it going tonight, Mike?
Fantastic, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. After flying solo on morning radio show this morning, I'm excited to get into a CEO interview, my friend.
I heard nothing but good reviews about it. Nothing.
You didn't hear any reviews, did you?
Well, like I said, nothing but good reviews.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll take no reviews as good reviews. How's that?
I needed a tech guy. We needed to get Ryan on the show.
Yeah. Well, we got him in last night. Maybe we'll get him tomorrow night again. We'll see how that works out.
I needed a chartist.
You never know. Never know. All right. Tonight we have a fantastic CEO interview. Doing tonight's interview will be Mr. Haas. Mr. Haas, take it away, sir.
All right. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Lamont Roberts, the CEO of Goliath Film and Media Holdings, going by the stock ticker GFMH. Mr. Roberts has a diverse history and background in the motion picture industry, focused on faith-based and responsible minority content films. In this interview, I'd like to cover what makes this specific company, Goliath, unique in the movie distribution business and how they plan to grow into the future. Welcome to Stock Trader Stock, Mr. Roberts. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Happy to be here.
Well, excellent. We're definitely glad to have you. And without further ado, let's delve into some of your company details here. Why don't you just start off by giving us a general background on your company? Just describe to the audience what your company does and where you guys' focus is at right now.
Sure. Goliath distributes motion pictures and videos, specializing in specific niche genres, and more specifically, these genres are faith-based, socially responsible minority content, educational, and low-budget horror films. And our focus is on licensing to television, foreign territories, and streaming media distribution.
Okay. And when you say, educational, how large is that span in the educational realm? Do you guys focus on specific types of education, or?
It runs the gamut from kindergarten through high school, graduate school, college, collegiate, as well as continuing education.
Okay. Interesting. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in general and in this specific industry and market, and also, just go into a little more detail on the brief history of the company and how it came to be and, who you've partnered with in the past, different types of things like that. Sure.
Back in 1997, I co-founded a personal management firm with the late basketball great Wilt Chamberlain. The firm was thank you. The firm was set up to represent actors, athletes, directors, writers, and creative people that were involved in both sports as well as the media. We set this up here in Los Angeles. About that same time, I was also producing film and television projects. Since 2003 until present, I have been running an independent production and distribution company. Now, we started Goliath back in October of 2011, and we've already licensed 10 wonderful motion pictures, and we have already identified hundreds more, which we plan to license over the next 60 to 90 days for distribution.
Wow, that sounds like quite an aggressive plan there. Let me back up a little bit. Did you say Wilt Chamberlain, like the infamous Wilt Chamberlain?
That is correct.
Wow. Obviously, we would love to have him on the show, but we know that's not possible at the current time, but very good. Definitely not dealing with small fish. It sounds like you have some pretty big connections over there out in the California area.
That is correct.
Well, very cool. How about the rest of your team? Why don't we talk a little bit about, board of directors, your marketing team? Why don't you give us some details on that?
Sure. The board of directors right now is myself and Kayla Crashoni, who is an actress and a director of many films. Kayla has won 4 national titles in public speaking, and she graduated from the esteemed USC Film School. As far as like our marketing team, we are connected to experienced people in each of the genres I have mentioned to you. That would be faith-based, educational, and the other niches. And we know significant individuals in those respective areas. These are people who have the contacts and the credibility in that particular space, and we will be announcing more on these individuals and their roadmap in the near future.
Okay. So basically what you're telling us is that, you have very key, well-known people in all these little niches that you guys are delving into, but you just can't give the names of these particular people and parties at this time?
That is correct. Not at this time. We're still working on contractual arrangements.
That's no fun. You're leaving your shareholders hanging, but we'll definitely look for updates related to those affiliations in the near future, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Let's move on a little bit into some of the business objectives and plans and strategies into the future here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company's strategic direction and, business objectives going forward here?
Sure. What we have right now is a nice base of films in our library, which we will be licensing, but we will be licensing many, many more. We also intend on having a streaming online site that will create an opportunity for us to produce subscription revenue by this fall. And this will also enhance our ability to generate revenues from other traditional distribution channels throughout the calendar year.
Okay. Is that site up or in development right now? Is there anything that we can take a look at?
Sure. It's in development, and certainly upon completion of beta testing, we will have something up for everyone to be able to have an opportunity to take a look at it.
Okay. Do you have any sort of timeline for that site to be up?
Like I said, our goal right now is to have this operational by the fall of this year, 2012.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So, how did this technology, the idea and concept of these niche market films come to be? Where did it originate from within the company itself here?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story that I'll make very brief. We recently completed production of a documentary entitled Chosen by God, The Great Black Pharaohs of the 25th Dynasty. This is a academic documentary on Nubian pharaohs that ruled all of Egypt around 700 BC. Now, during my time in the film business, motion picture industry as they like to be called, I came upon an interesting phenomenon. It was that people in the faith-based or Christian community are very dedicated and quite interested in motion pictures that are conducive to family viewing and which are also congruent with their Christian lifestyles. Now, interestingly enough, Hollywood writers, producers, and directors have basically in their minds that these aren't important films to produce, and no one wants to see these kinds of movies. Now, when you look at the stats, and it's over 42% of Americans, and this is according to the Gallup poll, say they are regular churchgoers. I saw that as a huge, huge underserved market. Now, my test marketing of this particular documentary I mentioned, Chosen by God, has tremendous appeal, not only to the faith community, but also when I mention socially responsible minority content, it has a strong appeal to the African American theater goer, as well as in the educational marketplace. So this has convinced me of the market demands for these kinds of films. And there are hundreds of good quality films in the genres we talked about, which we plan to license and distribute.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys, have pinpointed some of these films and niches and genres that you plan to acquire throughout the United States. And obviously you have a large foreign presence with some of these types of films. So the expansion opportunities, I could imagine, are quite large if you know where to look.
Yes, they are. And you are correct. There is a global marketplace that we are looking to exploit.
Very good. Can you elaborate a little bit on the significance of this particular sector and industry and the specific and targeted applications for your particular products?
Yes. Well, as you know, the U.S. entertainment industry, and specifically motion pictures, is one of America's largest exports. And while a huge chunk of America wants to see more Christian and family-based films, there are very, very few people out there to service that need. Now, in 2011, Netflix, I think it was, had sales of over $3 billion with 20 million streaming subscribers here in the U.S. alone. Now, they recognize that streaming is the future of content provision. Now, with our low film licensing cost and an audience of tens of millions of Christians, we think we can get hundreds of thousands and even millions of subscribers at a few dollars per month. This would be your subscription-based revenue. And this is just in the faith-based or Christian market, which is one of our niches. Now, we are also licensing educational films, which also have a huge international market. So, and finally, let me also say that we hope to license our film inventory for both television and foreign audiences, for a significant amount of revenue. That's the basis of our strategic thinking at this time.
Oh, wow, that's pretty intense in the numbers realm there. There's a couple ways of going at it. You can find, a niche market, really go at it and charge these, smaller subscription fees where the market is really large, or you can have your smaller market and take over the entire market and charge a large fee. It sounds like you guys are going towards that smaller fee, especially in that streaming avenue of things. But just running some quick numbers through my head on what you just said. Let's say you get 1 million subscribers for, one particular niche market, let's say that faith-based market that you guys are gearing up to make a big dent in. $3 per month, 1 million subscribers, that's $36 million in annual revenues just from that one niche alone. So you guys are pretty confident you'll be able to ramp up to that in the future, huh?
Yes, we are.
Wow. And obviously, you talk about your educational niche as well, which is obviously going to be huge. Your minority niche, which is also huge. And you guys are also dabbling a little bit into the budget horror niche. So some pretty significant numbers there that we could be looking at in the future. I look forward to see how this company plays out and how those numbers start coming in. So some really good stuff there. As shareholders, we always like to know what sort of revenues we're looking at in the future. And I like what I'm looking at on paper right now, that's for sure. But how big is, your foreign audience? You mentioned a little bit about that. And, you're hoping to license your film inventory for television. I mean, what sort of revenues are we looking at on the television and foreign audience side of things versus the streaming side of things? Are you able to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, sure. I think the way you look at it is you have sort of two primary sources of revenue here. What we would call conventional distribution, it's what you're talking about now, and then this subscription-based streaming. So in the conventional area, let's say, we already have 10 wonderful films, motion pictures, in our library. Over the next 60 to 90 days, we are concentrating on licensing a critical mass of 100-plus films, motion pictures, in each of those targeted niches that I mentioned. Now, at the same time, on a parallel course, we're going to be developing and testing our streaming video site so that we meet that time frame I mentioned earlier, which would be the fall of this year. Now, then we will begin to sell our films also at the various film markets here in the U.S. and around the world. Now, the film markets take place primarily, and these are the major ones I'm talking about, from July to November of each calendar year. So in the 89 identifiable foreign markets, we generally sell on a per-country basis for a term of years. It varies. Each territory is different, so I'm not going to try to bore you with the specifics of each territory. Now, the foreign markets generally renew the licensing agreements over and over and over. And then we have the domestic play, which would involve usually a 1 to several year renewal options as well. So what we look to be doing is working with licensing in all the foreign markets, as well as our streaming online subscription-based content provider. So I think that in a nutshell kind of defines what it is we're trying to accomplish.
Wow, you jumped through 10 hoops that I wasn't planning on to get to until later in the interview, so we might have to reiterate some of that stuff with some of the questions I got lined up here, but it sounds like you guys know exactly where you're going and exactly what sort of markets you guys plan to expand in, both within the U.S. and internationally. So some good stuff there. Just moving on to the next question here. Regarding your specific business plan that you guys have in place, what stage would describe to the audience, what stage would you consider your company in to give the audience a current snapshot of your company?
I would say that, again, we are in the process over the next 60 to 90 days of assembling and licensing a nice critical mass of motion pictures and educational videos. Okay.
Yeah, and obviously you talked about, you want 100-plus motion pictures in each of your particular niches. So you guys definitely, and you have 10, you said right now? You've acquired 10 different motion pictures?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm actually looking at some of these. Are there any big names that our listeners would maybe recognize on some of those videos that you've acquired so far?
Well, I think it gets to exposure to television. I think when you look at, there are certain names like Catherine Hicks, who spent a number of years on a episodic called Seventh Heaven, Greg Evigan, who's well known in the TV world, Keith David, who's feature film actor and television actor, as well as a voice-over actor who's very, very well known. He's done in excess of 110 films. John Rubinstein, another established long-term character actor from the world of television. So, I think if you take a look at our cast, you will see many, many recognizable names of people.
Yeah, I definitely recognize some of those names. It sounds like in your line of work, you get to work and, get to know some pretty cool people, especially in the entertainment industry.
Yes,
first, Wilt Chamberlain, and now all these popular actors. So, great stuff. Now that you're venturing into this, the next phase of your business plan, significant growth, acquiring all these other motion pictures and all these particular niches you guys are targeting, what are your expectations, in the short term? I know you've mentioned over the next 60 to 90 days, acquiring all these different motion pictures. But as far as the stage that you expect your company to be at, 90 days from now, what can the shareholders expect?
Well, I think you're going to be looking at us executing the business plan on an accelerated basis, and to look for obviously in the press releases, which we do with regularity, the announcements of what we have done and what we intend to be doing. I think those are realistic expectations at this point. And again, I would reiterate the online streaming site. We're pushing for that to be operational by fall of this year.
Okay. And just coming from a strategic alliance and partner side of things, could you elaborate a little bit on that topic? Focusing on what each alliance or partner brings to your company specifically?
Well, what I can say is this is an area we're finalizing right now, and our business model has a number of major players interested, and we expect to have them online and with us in the next couple of months. I cannot elaborate at this point on the specifics, but I can tell you in terms of marketing, particularly in the foreign markets, this team of people has sold in every territory I named. So if 89 foreign territories, these people represent the ability to have sold and to continue selling in every one of those markets.
Perfect. It sounds like you guys have set, a perfect base as far as those alliances go to roll out your business plan in the future. Beyond, your specific service itself, providing these motion pictures through different types of distribution channels, what are your longer-term goals? Let's say 1 year and 5 years down the road. Where do you see your company 1 and 5 years from now?
Well, here's our plan.
What sort of milestone events are we looking at, 1 year from now and 5 years from now?
Sure. Well, our plan is that, as we obtain more quality content in the library, we'll obviously have more access to films and, an even incrementally larger number of films and educational videos. Mm-hmm. So over the next 12 months, I hope to take the company to a level where we are achieving significant revenue from distribution, as well as, and when I say distribution, I mean conventional distribution, as well as to attain significant subscription levels for our video streaming service. Now, over the 5-year term, we hope to become the next Netflix for many of the niche markets, even more than the ones that I've mentioned already. And we definitely expect to be a household word in the USA.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, one of the first things that came through my mind when I was actually looking at this company and doing some due diligence prepping for this interview was you guys are basically kind of like the Netflix of the niche market of film, so obviously a huge market, and your guys' business plan is solid, it's proven, and I look forward to seeing it roll out in the future here. Especially 1 year and 5 years down the road, I can't imagine what your company is going to be like if your business plan is successful. Could get really, really big, especially once you guys get some cash flow coming in and you can expand on an exponentially larger basis. But let's move on to some questions related specifically to what a lot of investors and shareholders or potential shareholders would be interested in. Why don't we start out with a basic share structure for your company? I know you guys are relatively new. You recently did a reverse acquisition and a forward split and things like that. But what's your current share structure right now?
Right now we have a little more than 67 million shares outstanding. Now, management controls and owns 47 million.
Okay. And would you consider the 47 million owned by management just really long-term? I'm assuming they're going to, hold on to those shares for quite a while as the company grows. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So we're looking at about a float of 20 million shares. So that's a really nice share structure. Do you know what the authorized share count is by any chance?
Not right now, I don't, no.
Okay, I'm actually looking on Pink Sheets. I believe as of February 12th, it's 149 million. That's just a general number that some shareholders like to know, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, that's, yeah, okay.
All right. Do you know who your transfer agent is? And are they open for investors to call in?
Yes, our transfer agent is OTC Stock Transfer. Now, I don't know their policy on releasing information, specifically, but since we're a fully reporting company. All this information is kept current by us in our SEC filings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Why don't we just cover the potential and actual revenue streams one more time? I know as a shareholder, I can't get enough of that kind of stuff. Everyone wants to hear about the big numbers that we're looking at in the future. So why don't you just cover that one more time for us?
Sure. What we hope to have is about $3 million in the next 12 months, and if our streaming site gains acceptance, many times that in the following 12 months.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I know we talked about the streaming site could be, the potential of, if you get 1 million viewers in one of those niche markets, at just $3 subscription fee per month per viewer, we're talking, $40 million a year from just one niche. So the potential for revenues here is quite significant beyond your little $3 million estimate there. I like how you're being conservative on that. That's okay, though, especially at the early stage that the company's in. But moving on, what does your balance sheet look like right now? I know you guys aren't bringing in any revenues quite yet, but what does the rest of the balance sheet look like? Debts, assets, liabilities?
Well, we don't have any debt, and we book all of our distribution libraries at a very minimal amount. This is how it's done as per SEC rules, and this is what my understanding of it is.
Okay, and as far as your library, you're referring to your assets that you have with the motion pictures that you guys have acquired?
That we've licensed. That's correct.
Okay, very good. Do you guys have a website right now?
Yes, we are, and yes, we do. It's a little lengthy, but it's GoliathFilmAndMediaInternational.com, all spelled out. So I'll repeat it again.
Yeah.
You repeat it again? Sure. It's www.GoliathFilmAndMediaInternational.com.
All right. Well, we definitely have that written down, and we'll be spreading that around. I know that's a mouthful, but thanks for repeating that for us. Would you consider your website to be the best resource for potential investors to learn about your company?
It's a good start. We also have a lot of information in our public filings, which you can access at www.sec.gov or sec.gov, the SEC's website.
Okay, so we have the website and the filings. Are you guys pretty open if a shareholder wanted to call and talk to some of the management about your company? Do you guys respond to emails?
Yes.
Okay, I guess yes sums it up. Yeah, we always like to see, companies who are willing to talk to their shareholders, so good stuff. Let's move on to one of the final questions here. If you had a 5-minute elevator speech that would represent the excitement of the future of your company, what would it be?
Well, when you look at the success of Hulu, Netflix, Pandora, and the like, it shows that people are willing to pay a small amount per month to see and hear the exact content that they would like to view in the comfort of their own homes, out of a great selection. So we're taking this a step further to deliver great entertainment and information to huge niche markets. If you think about the movies you watch and the cable channels you watch, most of us have very specific interests that we look at over and over again. My subscription, has hundreds of channels on it, and I probably religiously only look at maybe a dozen. Now, so we gravitate toward the same channels over and over and over. Now, the way things are now done, every content delivery company provides a broad array of genres, but there's not a very deep selection of the content. So they may have, say from a dozen to 20 Christian movies, or they may have 10 or 15 African American movies or surfing movies, but you keep seeing the same ones over and over and over. So it's almost like a vicious cycle. Once you watch them, there's really nothing for you to watch. I mean, how many times can you see the same film, no matter how much you love it? So now imagine if you have the opportunity to watch on demand one of, say, hundreds or even thousands of movies that are in your specific area of interest. My question is, wouldn't you pay a few bucks a month to receive that customized palette of movies?
Well, I absolutely would. I already do. I have a subscription to all three of those that you mentioned. I have a subscription to Hulu, a subscription to Netflix, and a subscription to Pandora. We were actually just chatting about this a little bit before the show. I watch all my TV and movies and everything through Hulu and Netflix pretty much. And, you know, I tend to focus on a few, like, you know, niche genres of movies that I like and, you know, just a few specific TV shows. And, you know, I don't even watch the rest of it. And, you know, you look at it, you're like $3 a month. You're like, oh, I'll pay that. So I totally agree with your guys' business plan. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And obviously the market's huge, and you guys know exactly what you need to do both within the U.S. and internationally. So, you know, the growth opportunities with your company are endless.
That's what we'd like to think.
Well, I would agree with you so far. We'll see how it plays out. Well, we've covered a ton of information on the show. Is there anything that you'd like to add or address before we move on with the show?
No, I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Roberts, we definitely want to thank you for coming on the show today. It was great having this conversation with you and for taking the time to speak to your audience and shareholders. We would like to extend you an invitation to come join us anytime you want to.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everyone.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
All right, guys. What do you think?
Very well done there, Mr. Haas. Very well done. If you missed any portion of tonight's interview, you will be able to listen to it in its entirety on Investors Hub under videos, then market commentary. Very interesting stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I still can't believe this guy did business with Wilt Chamberlain in the past. Judging just from that alone, you can tell that he's got, you know, the connections and any sort of financing that he needs to make his business a success without even saying it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you know, this streaming video is the future. We all know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
with the smart TVs coming out now where you just tell them to turn on. Have you seen those?
The what?
The smart TVs, they call them.
I have not seen those. Why don't you describe them to me?
You just say turn on, and the thing turns on. All kinds of weird stuff. You can check your email.
Can it hand you a beer when you're sitting on the couch, too? Hand me a beer.
I don't know if they've invented that part yet. I'll look for that in the future. But overall, we know that this is definitely where we'll be watching most of our movies, our TV shows, you know, TiVo and all that stuff's going to be a thing of the past. I mean, that's just a pain in the neck trying to program that stuff. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on as we roll here into the future.
Wow. Well, everyone, that was Mr. Lamont Robert, once again, the CEO of Goliath Film and Media Holdings, and it goes by the ticker GFMH. GFMH. So definitely encourage you guys to go do some due diligence on this company. This company is really, really new. They just did a reverse merger / acquisition in October of 2011, as he mentioned. I believe the shell that they reverse merged into is called China Advanced Technology in the past or something, with basically just a clean balance sheet. And after that, recently in early 2012 here, they did an 8-for-1 forward split, so that's why the chart might look a little iffy if you look over the past 6 months to 1 year or so. Basically, you know, looking at DD Amanda, there's not a whole lot of money volume trading in this stock yet because no one knows about it. I mean, great business plan, great growth prospect, but it just doesn't have the attention yet that I personally think it deserves. They got some really cool stuff going on here in the revenue potentials that we were talking about. You know, combining their 4 or 5 niches that they're gearing towards within, you know, 5 years, we could be looking at $100 million plus company. Who knows?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Just some highlights. I know it's tough while you're doing the interview to take notes and everything.
Oh, for sure.
But I wrote down a few. And just to recap, the news potential. He's talking 60 to 90 days. Right now they have 10 licensed motion pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next 60 to 90 days, they're hoping to have 100 plus. So that's a lot of activity.
Definitely,
it's got a lot of activity. The website for the streaming, operational by the fall of 2012. So what is that? 5 months away?
Yeah,
5-6 months away.
It's about 5-6 months, and I think that he was talking about that. That's a big time for all these film festivals, both in the U.S. and overseas. So that's a key time for them to start rolling out with all their products and their film pictures and distribution channels and things. So that's perfect timing on the company's part, which doesn't surprise me in the least.
And then he was talking about the foreign markets. They got 89 foreign markets, reoccurring revenue. So definitely a lot to dive into there.
Yep.
Definitely a lot to keep an eye on. Fully reporting, no debt. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
And his goal is to be the next is a tough 2 words put together. Next Netflix within 5 years.
The Netflix of the niche film market.
Well, I have 2 names for you. Ready?
Yep.
Let's see if you know them. John Favreau. Vince.
All right. Vince Vaughn, I recognize. What was the first one?
John Favreau.
It rings a bell, but I can't put anything to it.
Okay, they had semi. Well, tough to say. They appeared in Rudy together. Remember the movie?
Ah, that's one of my favorite movies now.
Okay. Well, John Favreau was the tutor.
Okay.
That's John Favreau. Remember the tutor from there?
Yeah.
Okay. And Vince Vaughn was the spoiled running back. Remember what I'm talking about there?
Yep.
Well, he thinks this is the Super Bowl. Last practice of the season. He thinks this is the damn Super Bowl. Remember that? Okay.
I haven't watched the movie in a while, Mike. I can't quite quote like you can.
Okay,
but,
well, I can quote like that in a movie.
I can put faces to both those guys now.
Okay.
Definitely not small fish in the actor market.
So anyway, that's where they met on the set of Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say maybe 5 to 7 years later, they came out with a movie called Swingers that was written and produced by John Favreau.
Ah.
Have you ever seen the movie Swingers?
I don't think I've seen the movie. I've heard of it, though.
Highly recommended.
Really?
Yes.
What's it about?
Swingers.
I suppose we can't talk. I suppose we can't go into detail.
No. Not that kind of swinger.
That's what came to my mind.
No, these are California-based. They're actors.
You're killing me, man.
And they go out, and it's mostly about nightlife. A really good movie. You'll like it.
Gotcha.
Then they conformed to do another movie together called Made. Now, Made was a little bit more uppity up, had P. Diddy in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these are both low-budget films that eventually John Favreau, not eventually, he started producing major film after that. And don't quote me on this because I can't think of the name of the movie that he did, but it's the one with the house that flies off.
I honestly have no idea what
I had no clue what the name.
You just remember that the house flies off.
Yeah, it's a flying house somewhere. I forget what happened.
No tornado or anything? The house has
I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember even watching the whole movie. I think I saw the house fly, and I was like, okay, this is enough for me.
Oh, wow.
No.
Are you sure you weren't on, drugs or something?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie where a house just starts flying. But
no, I don't think.
I don't know. That's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Good stuff.
Anyway.
My point being is that those were low-budget films, and the actors became huge actors and producer, obviously. John Favreau, Vince Vaughn has been in some major motion pictures.
Yeah, yes.
So lots of potential with those low-budget films. And I know this has nothing to do with the show tonight that we just talked about, but did you know that Rocky, the original Rocky, okay, Can you give me an idea what you think the budget was for that first film, including salary?
What year was it made?
1975.
Oh, wow.
Ish.
I'm guessing it was ridiculously low. The Rocky films are so easy to make. All you need is a camera.
Okay, but remember now, salary.
Dark alleys. Yeah, I know. Salary's included. But,
I just watched it, so I know the exact.
I'm going to guess back in 1970s.
Yeah, I want to say 75, 74. I mean, 76 maybe, but I don't think so. 74, 75. But I don't think 76 would make that big of a difference. Okay.
$300,000.
$76,000.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Then,
I guess I don't know what actors made back then, especially like a Sylvester Stallone. That was probably one of his first movies.
Then it got horrible reviews, and the movie company wanted to pull it from theaters. And finally, somebody stepped up, like the Ebert or somebody like that, one of those guys, and said it was a great movie. Then for Rocky II, Sylvester Stallone went in and said, I want $1 million.
Good call.
Just for himself. Unheard of salary.
Hey, I've watched each of those Rocky Balboa movies.
Oh, look who wants to chime in.
Who?
I got somebody that wants to chime into the show.
Who?
I got somebody that wants to chime in.
To you?
Go ahead, Chimer. Chime in.
Oh.
Go ahead.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Paulie, you're on the air live. Speak to us.
Cop, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I would recognize that voice anywhere.
I think you guys have lost your minds. Did you guys really send me to New Orleans on business? Seriously?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wait, we sent him there?
Yeah.
You're the best boss ever, man. By far the best boss ever.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're in New Orleans right now. I didn't even know that, man. They don't tell me anything around here.
Not even just in New Orleans. I mean, like everywhere in New Orleans. Like, Bourbon Street, Tropical Isle, the whole 9 yards. By the way, if you see 5 hand grenades on the card, I didn't do it.
So you're right down the street from one of my favorite places in the world.
What's that?
Paris.
Yeah. I've already done that.
Oh, really?
And I did not use company funds for any of that.
Well, I know you couldn't.
Why?
I went today and reported the card stolen, by the way.
I'm sure there's a very good reason why you thought that.
So good luck trying to use those cards. I will send bail money if needed.
Hey, phenomenal interview, man. I caught the last bit of it. Man, holy cow.
You like
Definitely
that?
some good stuff, Cop. It was real good.
I feel as if I've been replaced. That was phenomenal.
Well, we got another one tomorrow. You're more than welcome to join us.
Yeah, I hope that I can be able to be there in time for that. That would be good.
We got another one
Who's on tomorrow?
too. Not allowed to say yet.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I think we got one tomorrow and Thursday, don't we?
I'll give you a hint, okay? If everything goes through fruition, we're still negotiating on what's going on with this. But his first name is Doc.
His first name is Doctor?
Doctor.
I think I have an idea who that would be.
There you go. Okay.
Hey, listen. Quick little tidbit, and I know we never talk about stock, so I won't mention any tickers. Can we kill it any more than we're killing it? Holy shit.
Of course we can. We're not even trying right now, and we're nailing them out of the park, Cop.
Wait a second. Is this
unbelievable, man.
Haas.
What?
Help me out. Is it possible that we had a saucy sumo and now we have a saucy cop on the radio show?
You think he's saucy right now?
No.
Have you been drinking?
No, I'm actually driving, gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
Well, it doesn't mean you weren't drinking. I'm from North Dakota. It's like common.
Yeah, that's what they do up north. Sorry about that.
Up north. Wow.
Boy.
That was a low blow. Low blow.
So everything's going well. You return what, Saturday?
Sunday. You got me meeting those two clients up in Seattle. So I fly from New Orleans on Thursday to Seattle, unless that's changed.
No.
Good stuff. Good
No, I
stuff.
just thought you were coming home Saturday, not Sunday. Will you be here for Sunday's show? Let me ask you that.
Negative.
Can I ask when I get a week off?
You're the one that keeps sending me all these places.
Well, I'm spending myself next time. I'm going to spend myself.
And for the record, just so you know, you already got the wife already upset with you. I know we're live, but the anniversary's in a couple of days, and I'm gone.
Oh.
That ain't my problem, pal.
I know. It's all about getting the job done. I'm with you.
That's right.
Wait, Cop, it's your anniversary in a couple days?
What's that?
It's your anniversary in a couple days?
It is.
Oh, I think we should get the wife on the show on Thursday and talk about how Cop is traveling on business on his anniversary.
And what is that going to help?
I still love that.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll be scrapping for stuff to talk about without Cop on the show.
I don't think so.
Hey, but I wanted to call in and tell you guys that was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
We're trying over here. We're trying our best.
Did you catch the Haas solo train on the morning show?
I tried to catch a little bit of that. Were you solo?
Yeah, Sumo called in for a few minutes, so it was all good.
Were you rocking out the picks?
Oh, for sure.
Did you nail that ECDC?
What's that?
Did you nail that ECDC?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones I pulled up on level 2, bud. That one was nuts this morning. Again.
Yeah, you're a damn rock star. I'm telling you.
Rock star.
Boom.
Good
all right,
stuff.
gentlemen. Well, you guys have a good night. I just wanted to call and congratulate you because that was phenomenal.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, Cop, and we'll leave you. Lock them in down there, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all right, you have fun, and we'll talk to you Sunday. That was Mr. Cop on location in New Orleans. You little bastard.
I like it.
Look, let's just wait. How long it takes to hang up this phone? Like a game. Watch this.
I think he's gonna leave it on.
Oh, he actually did it. Look at that.
Dang.
He's actually able to accomplish the off button.
He might be a little bit soft. It might have taken him that long to find the off button to hang up. I think so.
Well, he has that new Apple 4S phone or whatever the heck it is.
Huh. I'm looking, continuing on with this Goliath here, GFMH.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at some of the films that they've acquired so far. A couple names that I remember, The Truth About Layla. I believe that was back in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2004 area. I recognize that one. Seducing Spirits I've heard of, but I haven't really looked into too much. Let's see what else we got. I guess I don't really recognize the other ones, but definitely go to the website and check out the films that they got so far. Again, that website is www.goliathfilmandmediainternational.com.
Mm-hmm.
So some good stuff there. And I'm actually looking at their chief operating officer that he mentioned, this Kyla Amaraya. I think she goes by a different last name now. She's just my age. So I don't know. I might have to do some investor relations for this company or something, or some sort of consulting services.
Hey, I want to jump into what was hot today, just for the last 10 minutes, but I want to touch on this for a second.
Okay.
How is it that me and you get stuck holding this ship up while Sumo is in Chicago and Cop is running around New Orleans and Siffy just lives in paradise to begin with, so,
Hey, Siffy's going through some stuff. He's in no paradise.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, though, he lives in paradise in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, basically, we don't have to send him anywhere. He's happy where he is. What are we doing wrong?
I think we need to be more demanding, and I don't know, maybe we're just, the key crew here. We're holding the fort because they trust us to do so. I don't know. I wouldn't trust those guys doing it. I wouldn't, man. We're really good at bullshitting. We're good.
Look at even log into the show. Look at even log in. My goodness.
Oh, at least they're taking care of business while they're traveling. Not all pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's run through real quick. We got about, I don't know. Let me check real quick here. We got 9.5 minutes.
Man, this buzz cloud looks pretty red today, bud.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Get sunburnt off of this. All right.
Really red today.
Let's take a look real quick.
All right. What are we pulling up first?
All right. We're going to start with the A's. I love my A's.
You love your A's.
I'm going to start with a double A. AAPT was up again today. Nothing big, but up, which is a good sign always. She closed. I know. She closed at 0.031, just a little change of 0.001, 3.3% in percent change, with volume just under 4 million. Just under 4 million.
I honestly don't know where to go with this one. We can talk it to death, but, sick amount of money volume coming in stock lately. Huge run from like 0.001 up to 3 cents now. Huge market in big pet company stores like Petco and PetSmart. And, the press lately is just expansion throughout the United States right now. If any of their products makes a big dent in the pet market, which is, it's likely, at some point, they could be bringing in some significant revenues. And, once it ran into Pennyland, stock just kind of got a life of its own. And, everything is exponential once you're in Pennyland as far as dollar volume trades and stock and stuff. You get a whole new set of investors involved. And, it's consolidating at these higher prices right now. It could easily go higher, but it could also easily take a dip. So you got to be careful at these levels after this huge run.
Absolutely. All right, next one, ACYD. Closed today at 0.0111, a change of 0.0046, up 70.77%, a little over 17 million in volume. Very nice day there.
This one's confusing the heck out of me. Did they put out some press this morning? Let's check this stuff.
I don't.
Wow. I'm not seeing any press that they released out on the open market here, but, sick amount of dollar volume. Looking at DD Amanda, we have a few higher volume days recently. We got $65,000 day on last week, Wednesday, last week, Thursday, $30,000 volume day, and then $13,000 yesterday, closing around that 006 area. And now all of a sudden we just get this huge volume day and it's way up. I'm going to check the filings on Pink Sheets real quick because the volume today obviously suggests that something huge is coming unless I don't know of some sort of promotion that's going on. Did we spotlight this one?
Yes, we did.
When did we spotlight it?
Oh, God. Where's Ryan when I need him?
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't have that up right now. It wasn't too long ago.
Okay, we're looking at an outstanding share count of 114 million shares, and the float's pretty low, around 40 million, so that's one of the reasons why it's moving so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull out their financial report here that they just put out on April 2nd or 3rd and see if we got any sort of revenues coming in right now. Let's see here. Bear with me for a moment. Looks like they got about 270,000 in assets, 600,000 in liabilities. I'm not seeing anything significant as far as revenues go, 100,000. So I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing there's some sort of big news on the way, some sort of promotion going on that I'm not aware of exactly at this time. But that's about all I can say about it right now, man.
I see you're really starting to pick up on that DD Amanda, huh?
Oh, I love DD Amanda, man. Anytime you can just look on one page and see the dollar volume and the change in dollar volume, coming into a stock and the price changes that are occurring at the same time, you can kind of tease out what sort of dilution's going on if you got a seller. And when a stock's, like slowly getting accumulated, you can see that. It's like right in front of your face. And you got the chart right next to it. You got links to all your filings that you could possibly think of, Novius filings, SEC filings. You got a direct link to pink sheets. You have the best scanners and screeners that you can possibly think of that tease out what sort of dollar volume is coming into and out of the stock and bringing you some of the best picks that you could possibly imagine. There's nothing like it. It's literally the best trading tool you could possibly have.
That is ddamanda.com.
I found more winners in just the short while since I've been using it. So I think I've been using it for about 2-3 months now. I've found more winners near or at the bottom than, my entire 5-year trading career before that, just using other, measures and websites and stuff. This literally has everything consolidated into one location. It's absolutely perfect.
Now, there is a cost to use the software. I think it's $49 a month or something like that.
It is, but if you're an active trader, depending on the amount of money you have, it's well worth it.
Yep.
You'll earn far more in profit returns if you learn to use it correctly.
Ants made a little move today, ANTS.
I was going to mention that one on the morning show because I saw it kind of started creeping back up yesterday. Volume was creeping up a little bit. And today, it broke up. Broke upwards, I should say. It was relatively quiet after that huge spike that it had, and then it had a $60,000 day yesterday out of the blue. Before that, a bunch of $5,000 days. And it was obviously in the green yesterday. And the chart looks pretty good up to that 1 cent mark right now, I'll tell you that. I think it'll test that 1 cent mark, and if it breaks back up above that again, who knows?
It was up 48.15% today, closing at 008. Volume 20.5 million. Not a bad day there.
Yeah, I'm definitely not seeing any news that caused that, but someone's in the know. Some sort of promotion or news is coming, I would expect.
Okay, this one's not huge volume, but up a lot, so I'll call it out here real quick. AUCI closed today at 0.003, change of 0.0013, up 76.47%, 10.6 million in volume. What's so funny?
No, this one's just funny because I had a buddy a long while back that was accumulating this one, I think near 001 area, and he's like, this one's going to run at some point. And I think it got hot, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really, really thin share. If I remember correctly, let's pull up pink sheet, see if we can get a share structure out of here real quick. Well, I guess it's a low share structure for, this 000, 00 area. It looks like we got about outstanding share count of 320 million and a float of 200 million. But, anytime you're going to get, 1/5 of the float traded, the stock's going to move if most of it's buying.
Oh, yeah.
But this one had a run, spiked up to that 003 right where it finished today. That area dipped way back down, a couple days later. This was just a couple weeks ago. And, someone decided they wanted to increase the share price again today. So if it can sustain itself and they got some news coming, the uptrend can continue, especially with a nice share structure. But we'll see what sort of news company can put out. They haven't put out press since January.
Okay.
They announced a share purchase agreement with Amero International Incorporated. So I'm guessing we got some type of merger acquisition occurring in the background, and if the volume continues to increase, I would expect news related.
Okay, cutting you off there.
Fine.
Don't forget the morning show, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, starring Mr. Haas tomorrow by himself. Fabulous. You're listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. We'll be back on the air tomorrow night with another CEO interview at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wish you all the best with all your trades. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out.
Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate. and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.